Hello, can you say hi? Hi. Today I thought I would show you how Ani and I make one of our favorite snacks. I call them peanut butter bites. They're sort of like a perfect bar if you've ever had them. I think they taste like the inside of a Reese cup, but what you're gonna need to make them if you want to is some oat flour, or in our case, I just use like classic Quaker oats and I blend them until it's almost like a flour. A half a cup of peanut butter or whatever nut butter you like. And then you need a sweetener, a liquid sweetener. I mix about an eighth of a cup of honey and an eighth of a cup of agave syrup. You could also use maple syrup, whatever kind of liquid sweetener you want. Do this to taste. I use about a quarter cup total of sweetener, and it makes it, like I said, very dessert-y. I also mix in 1 to 2 tablespoons of chia seeds for some added healthy fats, and I put a little bit of cinnamon in ours. Ani helps me make this. I've got the pan heating up over here. You're gonna want some kind of, I find the loaf pan works really well size-wise, and then just line it with whatever, parchment paper, wax paper. And then what you're going to do is, Ani usually helps me pour the oat flour in. You're gonna pour it in. Yeah. I don't let her help with the heating part, but I heat the liquid sweeteners until they're like extra liquidy, and then I add the peanut butter. And basically you're doing this just to make it a little easier to mix in with the oat flour. So we'll add, while we're waiting, we'll add the chia seeds. You wanna help mommy? You wanna help? You pour it in? Pour it in. Oh, good job. You want a little bit more? Chia seeds are optional. I can't remember if I said that or not. Really, they're just adding, since we eat mostly vegetarian, they're adding some good healthy fats and a little bit of extra protein. You want to add, I know you already know, we add the cinnamon. You gonna mix it in? We add in some chocolate chips. That's optional. You don't have to do that. You could also chop up some like almonds or walnuts and mix it in. Really, whatever you think would taste good with the sort of peanut butter oat flavor will go well. You want to stir? I will put the recipe in the description box below. When I make this, I don't really measure, but roughly I go for about a cup of the oat flour, 1 to 2 tablespoons of chia seeds, half cup of peanut butter, and then, like I said, a quarter cup combined of sweetener. You can play around with that. Basically, you're just looking for a texture that you'll see when we put it in the pan. It's really easy to just kind of smash flat. Be careful you don't spill. I will say too, if you're using a peanut butter that already has sugar in it, you probably would not need the liquid sweetener that I'm adding. Although you could add it. My guess is even if you're using an unsweetened peanut butter, it would still be good without sweeteners. It would just have more of a peanut butter taste and less of sort of a dessert taste. She likes playing in this for a sensory activity, which is why I just make sure to wash your hands really well ahead of time, because obviously we're gonna eat this. I store these in the refrigerator. The recipe, don't eat it, my love. The recipe I found online originally called for things to be stored in the freezer. My guess is if you did them in the freezer, they would last a little longer. Okay, so again, with the mixture that you're heating up, you're just going for sort of a combined, not quite liquid, but a little bit more liquid. And you're just gonna put it in with your oat mixture. Again, if you have littles helping you, just watch out because it is hot. And since it's peanut butter, if they touch it, it is gonna stick to them. At this point, I usually get the mixing going with the spatula, and then I switch to a fork because this ends up with a pretty dry texture. Do you want to help? No? You're not going to help? You normally like helping. You want to help or no? I think she's a little hungry. It's getting close to lunchtime. But you'll see it doesn't really want to fully combine. You really have to kind of work it. And it is warm at this point, otherwise you could do it with your hands and it would probably go quicker. That look good? We're almost done mixing. If you put the chocolate chips in at this point, they would definitely get melty and would kind of combine. I usually end up sprinkling them on the top, which I'll show you. Bless you. Thank you for not sneezing into the bowl. No, you're gonna help. Okay, I think you started helping right as we were done. So this is what you have when you're finished. Ready? I think we're finished. You want to stir some more? All right, should we put it in here? So it looks like a very, very thick batter. Like it's pretty solid. So you're gonna go ahead and put that in your, like I said, I do a loaf pan. I find it fits size-wise just about right. And then I just kind of smash it flat. Sometimes I use the fork, sometimes I use the spatula, sometimes I use both. Because like I've said, the stuff is pretty thick. But I'm basically going for spreading it evenly in the loaf pan. They usually actually have the texture of a Reese cup when I have it all said and done. All right, let's flatten it a little bit with this, and then I think we'll let it cool. Okay, so in the end, I have something like this, pretty flat. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the fridge to cool it off before I add my chocolate. We'll come back to show you how we add our chocolate chips. All right, I'm back. Ani has lost interest in cooking, which is fine. I don't ever personally force her to engage in it with me, only because I want it to be fun, not painful for either of us. This is cooled down enough where it is not cold, but it is cool enough to the touch where I can tell it's not gonna melt the chocolate chips. So this is what I do. I take just a standard butter knife, and then along the length of it, I slice it about in half. And then I just go for kind of even sizes. I can't even remember about how many this makes. So that's 6, 7, 8. So that's 12, but they're not all even sizes. So you can see I've just really kind of scored it, and then I'm gonna add the chocolate chips. And then what I do is I take my spatula again and just kind of push them down into the surface, just so when they're done, they don't all fall off. I obviously don't do it too much because I don't want to undo the scoring I just did, but that's what they look like when they're done. I put these in the fridge for 2-3 hours, and then when they're completely solid, I pull the wax paper out and I put them in an airtight container. So I'll show you that when these are completely solid. All right, these have had 2 or 3 hours in the fridge, so I'm gonna show you how I store them. I'm not entirely sure how long these would stay good for. At our house, they generally last about a week. We generally just have about one as a serving and find that that's plenty. Like I said, we don't necessarily eat these like granola bars. They're just kind of a small snack slash treat for every once in a while. But we do like them. And Ani really enjoys them too. So periodically, if she didn't eat a good meal, we'll make sure that this is the next snack, just because it has, like I said before, quite a bit of protein and quite a bit of fat in it. Which are two things that babies obviously need in abundance. But we just put them in this little airtight Tupperware container. And I'm sure if you stored them in your freezer, they would last for probably a couple months. I'm gonna pop these back in the fridge. They should last for a week if they're actually around that long. These are a really yummy treat for if you're craving something sweet, and they're definitely a little better for you than candy is. She woke up from her nap hangry, so she's having a snack. Are they good? Is that a good snack? But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Bye! Ani, say bye-bye! Bye-bye, bye-bye!